It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso right here on SABC3. It's your Monday morning, nice and fresh, and we are all smiling because it was a major weekend and some sporting results, man. Well done. From the get-go, I think, for our stars. Man, Graham, yeah.
Where do we even begin, bro? Be still my beating heart. I actually almost had a stroke this weekend. It was just so awesome. It proved to be a fantastic one for every single South African sporting code, for the fans as well.
Yes.
The Springboks, the Blitzbokke, Bafana, all coming out on top with brilliant victories on the sports field. We even got victories in the Comrades Marathon. And it just goes on and on and on. But let's focus on a couple of the big, I think, the important momentum
Dude, let's get into
shifts.
those Springboks, man.
Siya Kolisi, first run out was, and he's been quite, so we can give him a round of applause.
Yes. Go Siya!
Has revealed that he was obviously deathly nervous going into that fixture. In the first kind of 15 minutes, we were 21 points down. Brown had scored on the outside after we had spoken about there being frailties on the outside with two debutants on the wings. Elliott was brought into that fullback position. Just looked like they might have had our number. But I don't know what Siya said. I don't know what the boys had been drinking earlier that day. But they came alive. They managed to turn that around. And the young man there, Faf de Klerk, is probably one of the big reasons why. Sabu and Corsi scored 2 tries on the day, but for me, Faf, the time that he spent with the Cell Sharks has turned him into one of the most well-rounded players. So good to see Vili back in the mix there. He scored a try as well. Apiri Jainchi also getting, so all of the debutants just about scored. Archia Snyman in the lock was also phenomenal. He had about a 70-meter run, cutting through a back line like a backline player. There were so many positives. I think a lot that they're still going to need to work on because this English side might have been battling a bit with altitude. You know, it's very difficult to come and play in Ellis Park. But to get a 42-39 win over England, there's going to be some major questions asked of Eddie Jones now. His losing streak extends to 5 games, I think, after having had such a phenomenal start. But to Siya Kolisi and all of the boys, for a team that hasn't really, there were no combinations that have played together at all. They were phenomenal.
But they got their groove, and you could see that momentum coming through, man, as the game progressed, which was amazing. Well done to the Boks, yeah.
And then talk about momentum. They had very little momentum going into the World 7 Series final, the Paris leg. They had everything to play for. It looks like Fiji, this had turned into a one-horse race if you look at the kind of back end of this entire season, but the Blitzboks kept themselves in it. They lost the opening game. I thought we were possibly done and dusted. We needed England to knock Fiji out in the quarterfinals, but they still had to go out there and earn it and win that final against England, who were pretty much the informed team. On the form throughout, it didn't look like they had enough. I don't know where they drew the inspiration from. They were playing on fumes, but there were some amazing moments. And for me, Van der Kok, Ruan Nel, the cool heads, the guys who have been in that situation before, made those crunch decisions because it's a game of millimeters and sevens. It's so unforgiving. And a couple of standout players. I feel quite bad. I've been quite critical of Dewald Human, who had made a couple of kind of new boy mistakes. He turned out to be the player of the final. He was absolutely phenomenal, scoring tries, taking down the big guns, getting those conversions. So to Philip Snyman and the rest of the Blitzbokke, back-to-back World Series 7s champions. I mean, we could go on forever, man. I'm going to give a quick nod to Bongamusa Mtembu and Anne Ashworth as well for taking the Comrades Marathon. But, I mean, where else do you want to go? Bafana, the ladies' cricket side. Everyone won.
Man.
Everyone
Congratulations
won.
to all our sporting stars, man. Yes.
Well done.